Hello dear students, you are welcome in this video. Dear students, in the previous video we talked about the structure and syllabus of the paper phonetics and phonology. In this video we are going to start the unit wise discussion and unit wise study material or video creation on all the topics. And here we have very first topic which is what is language. In this video we will talk about what is language, its definitions, and before that we will also consider how did language originate or origin of language. So for that I am using these two books. The first is The Study of Language by George Yule. This is a very important book for the students, that you can use this book, The Study of Language by George Yule. From this book I will pick a few points, and from the second we have John Lyon's Language and Linguistics. It's an introduction. Both books are very important books for the study of language, or what is language, or the development of language. Different types of aspects you will find in these two books. So if you have these books in your library, please go and consult those books for further study. So here we will understand the basic concepts in language. Very first, let's understand the origin of language. Now before that, there will be a few questions which will be answered in this video, or this type of questions might be asked in your examination, coming examination. So here are a few questions. Very first question, how did language originate? So we will cover this part. The second, we have explained the theories of language. What are the different types of theories of language? Then we have what is language, and the last question we have what are the various definitions of language, explain with meaning. We will also consider the meaning while understanding the definitions of language. Now let's begin with the origin of language. Now there are a few theories of the origin of language, in which we will consider how did language originate, or what are the speculations of the origin of language. So here we have a very first theory, that is divine source. So in this theory we find that generally people consider language came from God, or you find this type of concepts and speculations in every religion. So they have their own theory of language origin, they have their own theory of language development. Here we will consider two views from two religions, Christianity and Hinduism. So here in Christianity it is said that in Genesis we can find, so here is a source of the language generation, and generally they consider, or Christians consider, language came from Adam, and Adam is the son of God, or we can say that God created Adam and Adam created language. So basically language came to us from God. And here we have a statement that is, whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. Means whatever is called by Adam, or whatever Adam referred to the subjects, those subjects got that name, and in this way language came to us. This is a very simple theory. Again we have second theory from Hinduism, and this is goddess Saraswati, and language came from goddess Saraswati is the speculation for Hindus, or in Hindu tradition we find that. So Saraswati is the wife of Brahma, and Brahma is the creator of universe, or is the creator of this earth. And based on these two theories, or based on these basic theories of divine source of the origin of language, there were two experiments did previously. Here we find that Egyptian pharaoh, his name is Psammetichus, and he experimented before 600 Christ. What was that experiment? So we find that this pharaoh, or Psammetichus, kept a child for 2 years in the company of sheep or goats and mute shepherd, and after that 2 years the first word spoken by that child was bekos. Now this bekos means bread. So this word is bread. So it was the first utterance of that child after 2 years living in the company of sheep or goats. Now if you remove this cos from B, you will find that it is the sound of goats. So this theory do not have any scientific evidence, so we cannot rely on this divine source of the language origin. Just I am giving you the information how it is considered in the religion or in mythologies. Second, same type of experiment has been done by King James the Fourth of Scotland, and in that experiment also he kept the child in the company of mute people, and after 2 years he found that the first word uttered by that child was in Hebrew. So he said that it was a very great experiment, and the language Hebrew came from God, or we can say that that child spoke the language of God, was this speculation. We cannot rely on these experiments, or we cannot rely on these theories of language origin. Why? Because there is no any scientific evidence through these theories. Now next, let's understand second theory, the natural sound source. Now this theory also is a very important theory in the language development, and we can rely on this theory because it has some kind of evidence, or we can just find that how language might have been developed. Primitive man or primitive beings were living in the other animals. So in those animals, or in the company of nature, they listen to a lot of sounds around them, like we have here cow, cow, cuckoo, and all other types of sounds, and from those sounds the primitive human beings imitated, and from their language originated. They also tried to do those sounds. So this is we can say that one speculation of language development. And today, or still, we find in most of the languages, or all of the languages, onomatopoeic words. So this type of words we found in the languages. What is this onomatopoeic word? Onomatopoeic word means nothing but the imitation of natural sound, or those words which sounds natural, or they just have these sounds of other creatures. Like here we have the sounds of bow, splash, bang, boom, rattle, buzz, then we have hiss, screech, etc. And this theory is called as bow theory. So all these words are onomatopoeic words. So this is the speculation, or we can say that this is the theory of language development. So if you find these sounds are the bird sounds and animal sounds. So these words give you the meaning of the sound, and hence these words are called as onomatopoeic words. Again, there is another speculation in this natural sound theory. This is natural cries of emotions, like ouch, ah, hey, oh, yoke, etc. So these are the emotions. Through these emotions, human beings convey the state of mind, or their state of the emotion. For example, if they are happy, then they just say different types of words, or just they express themselves through this type of emotions with the help of these words. For example, here ouch, this word expresses the pain. Oh, these words expresses the exclamation or astonishment or surprise. Then we have hey, these words also expresses if someone meets after a long time, then this type of word come in our mind, or come in our we can say that mouth. Then we have wow, this is also a sign of happiness. Then yoke. So these different types of words expresses different types of emotions, and in the linguists there were these speculations that from these words language might have been developed. So it is also, we can say that, reliable, but it has some limitations. Then we have yo, hew, ho theory, and in this theory it is said that physical efforts, the sounds of physical efforts have created language. For example, we have grunts, groans, swear, different types of words. When people were, or primitive human beings were working together on some kind of task, so they have this type of we can say that grunts and groans and swear words, and from their language might have been originated. But this is a very limited view, so we cannot rely on this view completely. It is a limited view. So only a few words might have been developed or came into existence with this theory, Yo-Ho theory of language development. Next we have here the third theory of language development, the oral gestures source. So there is a strong connection between oral and gesture kind of communication. So here we find that there is connection between physical gesture and oral sound. So it is, we can say that language is the strongest medium of communication, and this communication first came from the gesture and after that words came. So this is also a theory, and it relies on the non-verbal communication, and still today human beings use non-verbal communication. So say for example, right now I am speaking with you and I am using gesture. So you can look at my hands, you can look at my posture, how I am expressing myself, you can look at my face. So these all things, or this all included in the non-verbal language, and these gestures have gave birth to the language development. So this is a theory of non-verbal communication or oral gesture source of language development. So this theory also is a reliable theory, because still we use gestures and postures to express the emotions or to express the ideas through language. While using language, at a time we use language and gestures. Now we have, so here you can see different types of gestures, hand gestures I have just listed, and these all hand gestures tell you the meaning of particular things. So these gestures give birth to the language or words. Next theory we have glossogenetics. Now what is glossogenetics? Glossogenetics is nothing but the biological basis of language development. So human beings have a language faculty in their minds. In the left hemisphere that faculty exists. So many linguists agree with the fact that the tool making faculty and language making faculty is situated in the left hemisphere of human brain. So human brain is important in the language development, and it is related to the human evolution. As human being take the upright posture or stood on the two legs, from there the development of language also started, according to some linguists. Say for example, he developed different types of organs of speech, and in his upright position, when human beings were on four legs, or when he was not upright, at that time language faculty was not developed. When he stood upright, then the language faculty developed. It was the speculation behind this glossogenetics, or the biological basis of language developed. Next we have here fifth theory, physiological adaptation. Now this is also developed in the evolution with human beings. Now what is physiological adaptation? Means human beings have particular organs, and through these organs he produces sound, and from these organs languages developed around the world. So what kind of organs take part in the language production? Here we find their organs of speech. We have teeth, lips, mouth, tongue, larynx, then pharynx is a cavity, then we have brain, left hemisphere, etc. So these all organs of speech contribute in production of the sound, and from there language originates. So this theory also is a very important theory in the language development. And here you can see that we have a some particular kind of organs of speeches, and through that we produce sound. You don't find these organs of speech in other animals like human beings, because the structure of these we can say that organs of speech is very specialized, which is not found in the other animals. Say for example, teeth. If you look at the teeth of human beings, we find that our teeth are upright. They are situated in upright position, so that we can produce the sounds like f, th with the help of lips and teeth. So this is not found in the other animals. So language faculty is very important, and the development of these speech of organs also is important. And the last theory here we have, which is based on the social interaction of the language. So here we find interactions and transactions. So language generally we use for communication, and we find mixing sounds, gestures social and emotional use. So the basic function of language is social and emotional use. So we use language for communication, and this is, we can say that with mixing gestures and the words or sounds or symbols. So here we have the base of social and emotional use. When human beings came together and when they were living in the families, from their language developed, because there they need the use of language, there they need the use of sounds, there they need the use of gestures and postures, and from their language developed. So transactional function also is important in the development of language, because it is a two-way communication. So two persons when communicate, they have the alternate options of communication, and hence transaction, they made transaction or transactional function of language also is a very important function. So all these are the theories of language development. I hope you understand. If you have any problem, you can comment below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let's meet in the next video.